Well, I'm fixing some soup. Carl and I are going to keep a little bit and really taking it up to her mother's in the morning for their supper for a couple of days. They're kind of as bad a shape as my parents are. Got some dementia and Alzheimer's stuff going on. So I've got 3/4 of a pound of sirloin, ground sirloin, and a ½ pound of fettuccine sausage, and a whole giant onion in here, getting browned up good. Got some cabbage boiling here. When that gets about 2/3 done, I'm gonna open up my fresh vegetables, put in there. Got a bunch of tomatoes. Picked them this morning. And I don't care what I'm cooking, spaghetti, soup, chili, whatever. Everything gets Kroger brand Rotel. I like Rotel, the taste, but I don't like too hot. I like mild. That way you get a little flavor without burning up. This meat's getting close. Get us some steam going now. Once I got it good and brown, I'll get that burner on high. Start pouring in the Rotel and tomatoes. Like I said, that creates more steam than anything and finishes cooking that meat up through and through. Cabbage is getting closer, just a little bit more. And I do try to help a little, low salt. I do think if you work hard at eating healthier, you might be able to add a few seconds on the end of your life. Everybody knows too much salt, too much sugar is not good for you. Gotta have a little though. Here's another trick. Help with this flavoring. A beef stew seasoning mix. That helps out a lot. Carla's mother won't even be able to tell it's not completely homemade. She's real strict about that stuff. I remember my first Thanksgiving in the family. We got married September '79, so it's Thanksgiving. Actually, it's Christmas. For Thanksgiving of '79, we went over to Jimmy Dot's house. But Christmas, we was over at Carla's family's house. At the time, she's the oldest. She's the only one married. So the rest of them still home. And I don't remember what I had made, a couple of things. One of them was a cake. Like I said, we just been married for a couple of months. And when I brought my car and I carried our dishes in, Carla's mother confronted me like she had known me forever instead of a couple of months. She wanted to know, was it homemade? And I told her, I said, well, it's not completely. I started with a cake mix, but I always add a pudding mix, instant pudding mix, help make it moist. Sometimes I'll even use a half a bag of mini marshmallows in the batter when you stir it up before you bake it. You can't see them after it's baked, but it just makes it more moist on the inside. So you remember that. If you're going to make a chocolate cake, get you instant chocolate pudding and some mini marshmallows. And then once the cake comes out, if you've greased and floured, I don't grease anything, but I pour oil in the cake pan, rub it around with my hands and fingers, get it so it's real light, and then shake some flour up in there so that when the cake bakes it pulls away from the edges. And once I get it out of there and starts cooling a little bit, I'll pour a can of Eagle brand over the whole thing. It'll get on top, but it runs down the edges. You take that cake to the family outing and it'll be the best one there, I promise you. But anyway, she wanted to know, was my cake homemade? And I told her, well, start with a mix and added my own stuff. She wouldn't touch it. If it's not homemade, she wouldn't even touch it. So anyway, I had to be real careful taking things up to Carla's folks. She can be kind of tough on you. But I do make pretty good homemade biscuits now, and we've taken a few of those up there, and she's actually ate them and liked them. She can tell by looking they're homemade. You can't fake that out of a can. Just getting close. So far this looks like chili, but we're going to add our vegetables and some more water and have that worked out. So I'm going to shut her off, finish this up, then come back with the finished product. We're back. And you can see got it going on. The cabbage, the vegetables, fresh picked of course, in mid-July, November. Yeah, my birthday's next Sunday. Carla's is Thanksgiving, 2019. Pulled out a little over it for me, put another can of Rotel in it. Mild, of course. Reminds me of another story. Mine and Carla's first date. Her mother let me in. I knocked on the door, and her dad was on the other side of the living room eating. I mean, he's reading the paper. I'm just standing at the front door. Her mother let me in. I'm standing at the front door, and his dad's back there in the corner reading the paper. And every once in a while, and if I was looking, he'd ease back down. And, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking, but that song, Nielsen, Jump Into the Fire. Our first day, we went to the State Fair, September '79, late September. And we was riding the Matterhorn, one of those things that kind of like a wavy roller coaster. And it went backwards and it go pretty fast. And at the end, they play this song real loud and raise the volume up, and sirens are going off. And this was the song in the background. So that was our first song out on a date. And Carla said she had fun. Must have worked. Now she's still here, 40 years later. Good for me. I'll talk to you another time. McHenry Creek signing off. Homemade soup.